Be sure to subscribe for more content.
Ladies and gents, welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking all about Luna Classic, what has happened to it over the past day, and where we predict the price to go to in the near future, as well as some key price levels and some potential trades I'm looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel and you're one of the 88% of people that do watch these videos that are not yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. So without further ado, let's talk about Luna Classic. And of course, first thing we notice if we get these annotations back on is the price did this awful dump here on Luna Classic. Basically, yesterday I had to make two videos on Luna Classic because we saw this unexpected drop here from 22 cents down to 13.6 cents here on Luna Classic, which represents 42% drop. Absolutely massive drop here. Probably the biggest single daily drop here on Luna Classic since probably May when Luna imploded in the first place. So really awful stuff here for anyone who's bullish on Luna Classic. We did see this awful drop. Of course, that was precipitated by the exchanges, Binance and FTX fighting, and the revelation that FTX has become illiquid and is going bankrupt. So very similar instance to, Celsius going bankrupt or Voyager. FTX are currently holding withdrawals. So the news there is very bearish. And of course, the fact that a major exchange has failed has precipitated massive drop in prices for all of cryptocurrency. If you look on the right here, of course, Bitcoin, for example, is hitting new lows not seen for over 2 years. And if we have a look at the FTX token, we're seeing some Luna style dump here on FTT token. So very bearish stuff. Of course, I'll get back to those two in a second. But here on Luna Classic, basically, I made a video yesterday telling everyone where I think the price could go down to, and we actually did hit that level at 13.6 cents. I was not trading, I was not buying or selling at any of these points because it's very unclear what was going to happen in the near future. Of course, I'm keeping up to date with everything that Binance is saying, everything that FTX is saying, Sam and CZ is saying on Twitter. Make sure you do follow them on Twitter to keep up to date with all the news, because anything they say right now could plunge the markets further or could make things bullish. So basically, first thing that I would do if you are holding, if you're planning to buy or sell Luna Classic whatsoever, is to follow Binance and to follow FTX on Twitter and see what they're saying. Any bullish news could push the prices up and any bearish news could plunge the prices further. So that's something I'm monitoring, and this doesn't just apply for Luna Classic, it applies for the whole cryptocurrency market. So in fact, if you're invested in any crypto whatsoever, I would be following Binance and FTX if you're not done so already on Twitter. Now, talking about Luna Classic and where we think the price is going to go to in the near future. Well, basically, for that, I'm looking at the strength in Bitcoin at the moment. Bitcoin is the tune of the whole cryptocurrency market. And in times like this, particularly when there's a crypto-wide event going on, Bitcoin is going to drive the whole cryptocurrency market. So in yesterday's video, we were at this level at around 18,600. If you see my last video that I made in the evening, as this crash started to happen, basically I said if we couldn't hold the support zone here on Bitcoin, the support zone held the price up for the past 5 months on Bitcoin. As you can see, prices come down to this zone on numerous occasions and come back up. So this is a very important zone on Bitcoin. If we weren't able to hold this zone, then Luna Classic was going to be dropping further. And at the time, Luna Classic was sitting at this 18 cents level here. And I predicted that if we cannot hold that level, we're going to 13.6 cents. And I got that level because it was literally our last zone of resistance here on Luna Classic. Of course, as soon as we passed this level here, 13.6 cents on Luna, we literally shot up. So of course, when we shoot up very quickly, we also shoot down very quickly through that zone. So this support that we have here, and of course this 13.6 just represented the last area where we got some major resistance. So of course, we drew this line and the price actually came down to it to 13.6 cents after Bitcoin lost this level here. So it plunged down to 17,100. But it did manage to come back up into the 18,000s once again. So this is why we're seeing some sort of recovery here on Luna Classic. We're close to this 18 cents region because we've seen, Bitcoin managed to pump back up to the 18,000s. But of course, we're still in a very dangerous zone here in Bitcoin. We're still below this zone of support that we have here. If we continue to follow this trend line, so at the moment we can see Bitcoin is still clearly doing this downwards pattern. If we just ignore that pump, that fake pump that we had on Bitcoin, that kind of drove the prices higher for about an hour to 20,600. Then what we see is we're following this awfully bearish trend line. Now, of course, I'll be looking for this to be invalidated. If we can continue to head higher or at least consolidate in a more sideways movement, then I'm going to be slightly less bearish here on Bitcoin. But at the moment, as you can see, we're in this awfully bearish trend now. And of course, if this is adhered to, then by the end of today or tomorrow, we should see price head to our final price target of Bitcoin, the local low, I believe, at 16,200. This area here is our next level of support if Bitcoin continues to follow this trend downwards. And of course, this is what I do think will happen on Bitcoin, because we've lost this zone of support here on Bitcoin, which is a very, very big deal. And therefore, I think Luna Classic is probably going to do the same. Of course, I do think it's fairly reasonable to expect Luna Classic to hit this 13.6 cents level. And this is not me saying that I want it to hit this. Obviously, I do believe in Luna Classic longer term. But when I'm looking at the charts, just technically speaking, I think Luna Classic could be sliding further as well. Because of course, we see a very similar trend line here on Luna Classic. If we just cut that peak out, that fake pump that we had for about an hour on Luna Classic, we can see we're again in a very awfully bearish trend line that looks like this. And if we just extend that, that means that if we continue to follow this trend line, then we're going to see prices tumble down to 13.6 cents by the end of today or tomorrow. So this is something that I'm really looking out for. Of course, this could be invalidated and we can continue to consolidate in a sideways movement if that's what Bitcoin is doing. But if we do get any more bad news coming out at the moment, if we do get any more bad news coming out whatsoever to do with cryptocurrency as a whole, then this is where I see prices going 13.6 cents. And if we're not able to hold that level, my next line of support on here would be, my next line of support on Luna Classic would be here at around 11.9 cents. So bearish stuff here on Luna Classic. Like I say, I'm completely out of the markets. I'm not trading, buying or selling Luna Classic because of this whole fiasco at the moment and how things are still very unsettled in the cryptocurrency market. Bitcoin holding onto a thread to these levels, but following this bearish direction that we've seen here, and all other cryptos are majorly down as well. So it could be a decent buying opportunity if you're looking to hold for the longer term. But in terms of trading it, I'm not going to be looking for any serious trades until we do settle whether it is at this region, if Bitcoin is able to hold these prices here above 18,000, or in this region down here at the 13 to 11 cents region if Bitcoin continues to slip down to 16,200. And of course, if Bitcoin is unable to hit that, is unable to hold this level at 16,200, then the next price target becomes 13,400 in my opinion. So very bearish stuff if we do head down there. At the moment, 16,200 looks like a fairly good local bottom, so I'm not looking at 13,400 too much. But in the off chance that there's some more bad news, then that's where I could see prices heading to. And of course, needless to say, Luna Classic will follow as well. So this is my thoughts here on Luna Classic at this very moment. Of course, everything that I still said in my yesterday's video still stands. I'm still looking for a trend break to the more bullish side, but of course, because the prices are so far below these moving averages, we'll never get a confirmed change of trend for a long while here, because of course, in order for us to see a more bullish trend, I always say that we want to cross this blue line, this 100-hour moving average. And as you can see, the moving average there lies at 21.6 cents, and we're currently at 17 cents. So any bullish price movement will not be a change of trend until we get a confirmation with these moving averages. Of course, at the moment, in terms of chart patterns here on Luna Classic, any tradable signals that we could be seeing, of course, I'm always on the lookout. And yesterday, we did see this consolidation pattern occur, so we could have actually traded the triangle that looked like this. In hindsight, this would have been a successful trade because, as you can see, we've got this support here, we've got this resistance, and we got a breakdown from this triangle to a price target, which would have been hit. So of course, price target is the first test and support. And just by looking at this distance here, it does look like the price target on the bottom side was hit there perfectly at 15.6 cents. And from that point, traders took their profits, their short profits, and the price started going back up. So we did see some sort of successful triangle here on Luna Classic. Of course, we can extend that trend line as well and look for other patterns that might be coming up. Of course, we have something that could look like this, so some sort of falling wedge, which would be actually quite bullish, and we can connect these lows down here to form some sort of mega triangle. Now, of course, don't think this is very reliable, but just looking at it, if it does actually happen to play out, then that should be a major move. And I'm just going to show you anyway for completeness of my analysis here. If we do see some sort of triangle that looks like this, and we do see a breakout to the upside, this is what it would look like, 25 cents. Don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, then there we go. That's the price target you can anticipate on here. But if we break out to the downside of this triangle, first test and support, and we just throw this here, so we break out to the downside in the next few hours, then we will see an ultimate price target of 11.1 cents. So again, a massive triangle there that we could potentially be seeing, but I don't think this is going to be the most accurate thing. Of course, just checking the RSI and the MACD as well, just to see what they're both saying, see if we can find any buy or sell signals. And actually on the 1 hour chart, we're getting some buy signals from both the MACD and the RSI. Of course, we got the RSI coming out of the oversold zone twice, and if we traded that would have been some reasonable signals. Of course, it's going to be highly skewed at the moment because the momentum is in a very downwards direction. Of course, we're easing up on the momentum a little bit. We can see the MACD is starting to go green on the histogram here, but the MACD line is still well into negative territory. And likewise with the RSI, we are well below the halfway line here, indicating that there's still a lot of bearish momentum here, although it's starting to ease up a little bit, as we can see with this pump that we've had in the past few hours. So of course RSI and MACD could be showing signs that that this could be some sort of buy signal here, but of course we're still seeing overall market weakness. We're still seeing Bitcoin holding this level by a very thin thread, and we're seeing Bitcoin hold this level by a very thin thread. So to me, this isn't a reliable buy signal as such, because we still got this major downtrend here on Luna Classic and Bitcoin. But if we continue to trend sideways for a while, or even go in a slightly more bullish direction over the course of the day, then I would start looking at more serious trades here on Luna Classic and other cryptocurrencies as well. So that's all I'm really going to say in this video. Just keeping my eyes peeled for any chart pattern that comes up, because we did actually see some sort of triangle here on Luna Classic that we could have traded. So looking out for anything like that coming up in the near future. At the moment, we don't really see all too much apart from that mega triangle that I showed you. But otherwise, and of course, I'm keeping my eye on the news and everything that transpires, because I don't think this dump is over. There could definitely be more news to come out to push the prices down. And of course, we're just seeing general market weakness at the moment. So again, just looking at the market, it does look like it's set to go further down. And on top of everything, I'm keeping my trading view updated. So if you do want to see my thoughts on the charts in the coming hours, be sure to follow my trading view. The link is in the description below. But otherwise, guys, that's all I have to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know in the comments if you are holding any Luna Classic. And otherwise, I'll see you in my next video.